Welcome to Nini Presents, and today we are going to be reviewing some strange photos. I thought, why not do something, not entirely different from the scary. It's not straight up scary, though. It's strange, and it's not videos. This is supposed to be photographs. So let's see what they got for us.
Slept.
10 real photos that cannot be explained. Here are a collection of real photos so baffling that they make you question the world we live in. From a giant flying reptile to compelling evidence of time travel. Join us as we investigate 10 real photos that can't be explained. Number 10.
Make it
The
good.
mystery of the Pteranodon. In 1864, during the American Civil War, 6 soldiers claimed to have shot down some kind of unknown bird or monster near Vicksburg. The creature in the photo resembles a pteranodon.
That looks edited, and I'll tell you why. Right around the edges, there's a certain lightness. I don't know. It seems to me there's a certain lightness around the edges. And surely people back when they first started doing, what is this, a lithograph, photograph, whatever it's called, surely they had their own ways of putting pictures on pictures and that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't think it looks quite right with the lines and the shadows in the soldier here, and like the lines in the as opposed to or mixed with the lines in the shadows in this what the heck do they call it? Well, it's a flying dinosaur. I don't know. I don't think the shadows and lines quite match up.
Which is a giant flying reptile that existed during the Cretaceous period throughout what is now modern North America. Number
Cretaceous. How long ago was that? Where's my phone? Let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, how long ago was the Cretaceous period?
Here's an answer from encyclopedia.com. Cretaceous is the name given to a period of time in Earth's history. Cretaceous period, from 145.6 to 65 million years ago.
Ooh, thank you, Siri. Wow, that's a long time ago.
9. Old lady in nursing home. When this lady moved into a nursing home in the mid-90s, her family took this photo. When it was developed, a figure of a man could be seen in the background.
I would
On a
agree.
closer inspection, the old lady claimed it was her husband, who had died 13 years earlier. The family insisted no one else was present when the photo was taken. Number 8. The Cooper family photo. There's very little
That's
info on this
interesting.
photo, and many call it a hoax for obvious reasons, but it's still a damn creepy image. The story goes that the Cooper family from Texas had just moved into the house and was celebrating when the dad of the family took this photo. When the photo was developed, there was a terrifying figure falling from the roof of the house. No one knows who or what it is. Many claim it's the spirit of the former owner of the house.
Oh, let me go back because that looks kind of like the film just is a little jacked up. Oh, I see. Okay, now I'm seeing it differently. My bad. Perception is everything, right? I see. This is the head. He's upside down. This is one arm hanging down. There's his hand. There's his torso, and here's the other arm hanging down. Well, hell, how do you explain that? I don't know. And you know what? I don't know is a perfectly fine answer. You're being honest. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to explain that. What are possible explanations? Well, I don't know. What kind of camera did he have? Did it accidentally somehow take another picture from someone as he was moving the camera to take that picture and it got double exposed or something, if that's a thing? I don't know. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say it's a freaking ghost. No. I think there are better explanations than jumping directly to the paranormal on this picture.
Of the house. Number 7. The Cadborosaurus. In 1907,
The
9
heck
fishermen caught
is
what they
that? You know what that looks like? That looks like a log tree. See how it tapers at the end? It's bigger there. Someone carved that tree, probably floating along in the water for how long? And they were bored. And they said, hey, let's carve this thing. Let's carve it from this tree here. And then we'll take a photo of it. Okay. When they can say, well, we have these stumps holding it up, and that's why it goes straight. That is way too straight. Assuming this is a fish creature out of the water, probably now dead, right? Wouldn't it be sagging here in some way and sagging here where it's not being held up by the stump? No, look at that's a straight line going all the way across. That is a tree log trimmed to look like something. Bunch of fools. And look at that little face there. He's all, ah! No, no. Would you have Picasso paint the eyes and the eyebrow on? It's all, pfft, bunch of fools.
claim to be a Cadborosaurus, a giant
No.
sea monster. The
Nope.
Cadborosaurus is a famous North American cryptid named after Cadboro Bay in Canada. The massive and elusive sea serpent has been spotted from Alaska all the way down to Southern California. To this day, no scientist has been able to identify the creature in this photo.
I can. Pine tree. What is the scientific name for a pine tree? Let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, what is the scientific name for a pine tree?
Pine is any conifer in the genus Pinus of the family Pinaceae. Pinus is the sole genus in the subfamily Pinoideae. Shall I continue?
Oh, absolutely.
The plant list compiled by the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew and Misery Botanical Garden accepts 126 species. Names of pines is current, together with 35 unresolved species, and many more synonyms. Pine may also refer to the lumber derived from pine trees. Pine is one of the more extensively used types of wood used as lumber.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Wow. Huh. Anyways, that's your creature. That's what it is.
Number 6. The Solway Spaceman. This one has been flying around the internet for a
I've seen this photo before. I have seen this photo before. I don't think it looks like a spaceman. This is some like a man's back. You know, this is like his shoulder blades, and he's got, you know, his elbow is out. I think this is either part of like a hoodie or part of like a sweater back, or maybe he has something tied around his neck, but I'm more inclined to think that's part of a hoodie. And then he's got silver hair. This is a silver-haired man, and he's facing the opposite direction. This is not a spaceman.
while, but the story is just too good to pass up. In 1964, Jim Templeton took a photo of his daughter while they were picnicking in Bergmarsh overlooking the Solway Firth in Cumbria. When the photo was developed, it sent the media into a frenzy, garnering worldwide attention. There in the picture was a tiny spaceman just above the young girl's head. Templeton claims no one other than his wife was there that day. Kodak verified that the image had not been tampered with and even put out a reward to anyone that
You guys, oh my goodness. You focused in on one thing in this photo, one idea of this photo. And then that's all you saw after that. That's it. When I first saw this photo, I thought, oh my God, there's a spaceman. And then I tried to look at it, you know, you try to see something inverted or look at it from a different way or a different angle. And I realized, no, this is the back of a guy's head. This is his shoulder blades. This is probably like a hoodie sweater. There's his elbow, and his arm is back like that. Okay. If the only other person there with him that day, other than his child, was his wife. Then his wife is probably the one who took this photo while Mr. Man was standing out there off into outer space. This is not a spaceman. This is not a mystery. It's a trick of your eyes. This is an excellent photo that depicts a trick of the eyes coupled with the trick of the mind. Because if you let your mind continue on the path of spaceman, 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 that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see it simply a picture of the guy from behind. He's standing up.
Could prove otherwise. But the story only gets stranger. Mr. Templeton claims he was visited by two men dressed all in black who were referred to as number 9 and number 11. They insisted that
I don't even know where to start. No, you know what happened with that, okay? After a while, he's looking at his photo and he realizes, ah, crap, this isn't a spaceman. This was when Honeypoo was taking a picture of Baby Bear, and I'm standing looking off into outer space. What do I do now? Because I've now made all these claims that it's a spaceman. Quick, fallback plan number one, the men in black. Gotta be kidding me.
he take them to the site where the photograph was taken. Then, just
Yeah.
days later, all the way in Australia, a missile test launch was aborted after the technicians claimed they saw two spacemen identical to the one in the photograph out on the firing range. Bizarrely, the aborted missile
What kind of drugs are you taking? You should stop. You should stop now because, I mean, you're going off in a direction that has absolutely no foundation. I mean, it's not even vapors there for you to build any of this on. No.
missiles were built in RAF Spedadum in Cumbria, just a few miles from where the photograph was taken. Many
Hmm.
claim they saw a UFO near the Australian launch site around the time of the incident. Number 5.
If they did see a UFO, maybe it was unrelated. But I don't know. I'm gonna think, this guy just realizes he messed up on what he saw in the photo, and he's made all of these claims. So what is he going to do now to save face? Imagine how would you feel? Forget about whether or not they really saw spacemen or whatever. Here's my question for you. Please answer me in the comments. How would you feel? Okay, you take a photograph. You're out there with your iPhone. Hey, taking selfies and stuff, and you're going through your pictures or your videos and you see something that you think with all your heart and mind and soul, oh my gosh, this is an alien, and I mean, and it looks like it is. So you go on social media, you post, look what I have, maybe the news takes on your footage. The world knows, hey, this girl over here, this guy over here has footage of an actual alien. This is awesome. And then one day you're going through your stuff and you're happening to watch that video or looking at that photo, and now you're seeing it with a different perspective. For what other reason? For whatever reason, you don't know. You just happen to look at it and then you realize, oh crap, that isn't what it is. That's just a trick of the light. That's just how the shadows are. That's actually so and so turned behind looking this way or that way. I mean, what would you do? What lengths would you go to cover your butt? Because sooner or later, somebody else is going to see that same thing. And what are you going to do? Do you just say nothing and wait till somebody says something to you? Or do you go out right away and clear it up? Hey, everybody, boy, my bad. Look what I did. After now thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people know. God, that would be embarrassing. What would I do? You know, I think I would just have to tell people. I would rather tell people and deal with whatever I have to deal with than not say something, because that's kind of like withholding. Do you know what I mean? You're allowing people to believe something that isn't true. I mean, if you don't know or you don't understand, that's one thing. But if you're allowing other people to not know or not understand and you know the truth, there's a problem if you're not going to say something. I mean, maybe there's a few situations where you can't, but I don't think this would be that situation. I would have to say something. Hey, everybody. eh, Nana Nini presents. Let me take that back. Video number one. I thought I saw an alien. Nope, it was not. That was just me. That was just my kids. That was just the chickens, the dogs, whatever. And then I'd have to show people what I saw. I'd have to say something. I couldn't make up more BS. And how could you keep up with all the BS anyways?
The Ghost of Three Men and a Baby. Three Men and a Baby is a 1987 comedy film starring Ted Danson. In one scene, about an hour into the film, Danson's character is walking across the room. In the background, when the camera pans past the window, a strange figure is standing there. It is said to be the ghost of a young boy who committed suicide in the house many years earlier.
Ew,
Some claim that the
what?
figure is actually just a cardboard cutout of Danson's
Probably.
character that featured in a scene that never made the final cut of the film. But what do you think? Does that really look like Ted Danson to you? Number 4.
Okay, let's go back because I'm trying to look and see if there's any discernible issues with, like, if it's a cardboard cutout, the shadows are just, everything's going to be flat. And I'm trying to look at, like, the shadows on this guy here, but I think he's just too close for me to really judge it that way. But this looks pretty flat. There's not really a bunch of shadows there, but of course the curtains are flat too. But I think it's a cutout. It's a cutout. And if it's a cutout of Danson, it's a considerably smaller one, unless that part of the room is much further back than it looks, because that looks more like, it does kind of look like little kid shape.
Character that featured in a scene that never made the final cut of the film. But what do you think? Does that really look like Ted Danson to you? Number 4. Man caught traveling through time. This photo was taken on the day South Fork Bridge was reopened in Canada in the early 1940s. It's very clear that one man doesn't belong in this photo or time period. He's got some sassy
Where?
goggles on, a hooded jumper, and a logo-laden t-shirt. Of all the events in history, why would a time traveler visit a bridge reopening in Canada? Speaking
You
of
never
time
know.
travel, what's the deal with this? This is footage taken from a Charlie Chaplin film opening in 1928. Everything is normal until a suspicious lady walks by chatting on a mobile phone. Look at that, she's clearly talking. And check this out, it's a woman exiting a DuPont factory in Massachusetts in 1938. Look, she's clearly chatting away on a mobile as well. What is going on? Number 3. Time.
Is that real footage? Because maybe it's not that they're time travelers. Maybe they've had the phone technology far longer than any of us know. Like Hollywood movie timeline far longer than any of us know. Okay? So maybe it's not that they're time travelers. No. They just have stuff that people won't have for 50, 60, 70 years down the line. Makes you wonder what they have now that we don't have access to. So maybe it has nothing to do with time travel whatsoever.
Travel memento left in Chinese tomb. Sticking with time travelers and their reckless attitude towards the fourth dimension, in 2008, Chinese archaeologists opened a sealed tomb in Shaanxi County that supposedly hadn't been disturbed in over 400 years. What they found in the coffin is baffling. It's a small wristwatch-like object with the time frozen at 10:06. According to sources, the word Swiss was engraved on the back. Is this
Really? That's interesting. So is there a way that they can verify the age of the dust and everything on that little watch thing there? I mean, what do they call that? Carbon dating? Or is that not appropriate for this type of thing? If I would say test it. I would say test it. See how old, see if there's a way of gauging how long this thing has been in there, regardless of whether or not someone has had access to it. That we can come to next. To find out how old all the dust and everything is on that. Because if it really is that old, then maybe you do have a case for one. Maybe there was a watchmaker or somebody way back when, pardon me, who was very forward thinking in how they created jewelry and watches. I don't know. And open that thing up. Does it have the makings of a watch? Like what's the mechanisms on the inside? Do that and date the metal and test the metal and see what kind of metal it is and whatever they used for it. Testing, that's the thing. Scientific approach all the way. All the way. Find out everything and then look through your facts and come to a conclusion.
Is an elaborate advertising campaign or evidence of a clumsy time traveler? Number 2. The ghost in the back seat. In 1959, Mabel Chinnery was visiting the grave of her late mother. While at the cemetery, Chinnery took a photo of her husband in the front seat of their car. When the photo was later developed, a mysterious figure could clearly be seen sitting in the back seat. Chinnery.
So I'm trying to look at this photo. I'll start looking at it around the edges and then slowly come in and let my eyes adjust and see if I see anything else. Or if I don't see anything at all, I'm trying not to let the fact that this guy is already telling me off the bat what I'm going to see. You're going to see someone in the back seat. But I want to see if that's automatically what my brain sees or if I see something else or don't see anything at all. And right off the bat, I saw someone sitting, pardon me, in the back seat. And he looks like he's wearing aviators. That's what I would say.
Claims it's an image of her dead mother. A photographic expert examined the photo and determined that it hadn't.
Dead mother. Then what the heck am I seeing? I see a guy wearing aviators. Maybe I need glasses more than I think.
Been tampered with, nor was it double exposure. Number 1. The ghost of Freddie Jackson. This photo of a World War I RAF squadron was taken in 1919. If you look at the airmen in the back row 4 pilots in, you can clearly see an extra ghostly face. All the men photographed that day swear it's the face of Freddie Jackson, a pilot who tragically lost his life in a propeller accident just days earlier. In fact, Jackson's funeral was held on the morning this photograph was taken. Well, there you go. By popular demand, there's a whole bunch of baffling photos that make no sense whatsoever.
That was better than I thought it would be.
As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you enjoyed the content, hit that thumbs up button, share it around with your friends on Twitter and Facebook. If you haven't already, hit subscribe because we have new content coming out each and every week.
I'll wait for him to finish his commercial.
This is their slap term shining off.
That was a pretty good video. That was pretty good. I think most of them were easily explained or probably or at least gave some direction where to go. There were a couple there that you were like, what am I looking at? And there was an I don't know. And I don't know is okay. You don't need to commit yourself to an answer if you don't know. That's a silly thing to do. Alrighty, that was a good video. See you in the next one.